Hey guys, so welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for coming back. So I want to do a lot of things, but I'm taking forever to do everything because I'm just really bad with time management. But anyway, let's just get to the video. In this video I wanted to talk about my experience because I've worked now 3 jobs actually in Japan, and I've worked a little bit more, but yeah, that's okay. I'll just talk about my 3 main jobs that I worked as full-time jobs. So my first job I will tell you about me working as an Eikaiwa teacher. Okay, so yeah, so that was my first job after coming to Japan, and I hated past tense, but kind of not past tense, children. I'm still not the biggest, some people are like, I love kids, they bring you life and they're all youthful. I'm like, I don't care. I've never been, I still really don't like kids. I don't know why, I just don't I'm like, the shop is closed. Yeah. But yeah, so I hated, but I really disliked them before I started working with them. But really, honestly, after I was working with them, they are kind of cute and they do kind of grow on you. They're kind of like a fungus. You're just like, ah, but you can't help it. They just grow on you. And I'm like, they're kind of cute. And yeah, so that was my first job. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna try and do a good job. So my first impressions about the job were, and again, I was just working at a regular Eikaiwa. I'm not going to mention the name of the school, but it's pretty much just your regular run-of-the-mill, Eikaiwa school, and I taught kids and adults. But my first impressions of the school, sorry, I have my notes here, was that my first impressions were that it wasn't bad overall because the pay was okay. I'd just come out of college. I graduated from my university in Miami and I came to Japan. That was my first job, and I was like, oh, the pay isn't bad, is what I thought at the time. And then I think we got a bonus every year, which I think we got a 1-year bonus. I don't remember if I got my bonus before the year ended for whatever reason. But yeah, so we were supposed to get a bonus, and then I think we had 10 vacation days a year or so, and then it was a totally new branch in my area. The school that opened up, I was the first teacher that taught at that school. And the Japanese manager and staff were super nice. And then some of the kids were super cute. Legitimately, they were honestly freaking mad cute. Yo, I had this one little kid in my heart. I would call him the little bean because he was so tiny. He was 3 years old, but he was super tiny, but he was also super smart because he was 3 years old, Japanese kid, but he could read English. Yo, that kid was so smart. I miss that kid. But yeah, really cute. And then I enjoyed going to work later in the day because then I didn't have to I enjoyed going to work later in the day because it gave me time to do things in the morning, because sometimes I would go into work at 11:45 or 12:45, so you have time to go to the bank and do stuff if you needed to. I also enjoyed the fact that any travel related to the company. So my company, I worked in not Tokyo, I worked in Kanagawa. So I worked not in Tokyo, but I worked in Kanagawa, and again, it was the first of my branch. But because it was the first of my branch, I did have to travel down to the home office center, which I won't mention because I don't want to give too much away from the company. And it was really cool though, because then they would pay for my Shinkansen ticket. So the first time that I rode a Shinkansen was because the company paid for it. It was so cool. It's I feel, and it's funny because I told my friend and he felt the exact same way. It's like a plane but on the ground, and it's so cool. I freaking love the Shinkansen without TSA and without just security and the long lines. It's just great. It's great. The Shinkansen is so cool. I love it. But yeah, so those are my first impressions. And then now we move on to, of course, the sensational part, I guess. What I absolutely did not like about the company. So I did not like the fact that I worked from Tuesday to Saturday at the time. So right now, I've mentioned in my Q&A video that I am a Christian, and more specifically, I'm a Seventh-day Adventist. Not a very good one, but that's beside the point. I am a Seventh-day Adventist Christian, so I don't work on Saturdays. At the time, though, I was not a Seventh-day Adventist, so it was fine. I didn't even know what Seventh-day Adventism was. But yeah, I would work on Saturdays, and a lot of Japanese companies do have Saturday as a working day. So this rolls into my next point, because Saturday is a working day. If a national holiday falls on Saturday, then the furikai kyujitsu, or the makeup holiday, which the holiday would be Sunday, the makeup holiday would fall on, I think, Monday. Oh yeah, so holidays will often fall on Sundays or Mondays. The thing is that so if the holiday falls on a Sunday, because Sunday is already a holiday, then the next day, Monday, would be the makeup day for that. But because my days off were already Sunday and Monday, then I wouldn't get those days off, and I wouldn't get makeup of those. Like they wouldn't make that up. They wouldn't give me those days at any other time in the month. It was just like, oh, okay, like my schedule, like, you see, they were smart. They were really smart. They calculated it. That's how I felt. That's why they gave like Sunday. That's why our schedule was Sunday, Monday. I mean, aside from the fact that, of course, a lot of families are going to want to take their kids to school on Saturday rather than on Sunday, because on Sunday they would probably have plans, because most likely the father will be working on Saturday, or like if the parents work in the family, they will most likely be working on Saturday. But aside from that, also, they done calculated it. So I did not like that. And then because of that, then I didn't get to have the same like vacation days as my friends. So one of my friends, they were some of my really good friends. Two of them were in Gunma, one of them was in Maizuru in Kyoto. And then when they could like come to Tokyo or stuff, I couldn't really like hang out with them on the times that they were there, except for like maybe out of work hours, and then I would work like long hours and stuff. But yeah, I couldn't really hang out with them during that time because of my wonky work hours. And then I also had to participate in company events, which I didn't like. Like, this wasn't like a voluntary thing. Like, I think this should be like a voluntary thing for like people who really like working with kids and who really, really enjoy putting on these kind of events and things. I'm not one of those people. I did not enjoy going to like the Halloween party or like the Christmas party. And then they were like I wrote I wrote concentrated summer camps, which reading it now, I'm like, maybe that's not the best wording, but I mean like, because it's like, they condense a lot of stuff into a short time. So even though the kids have summer vacation, they can opt to take like the class, and I think it was like 6 days straight that the like school was open or something. I don't know, it was like some whack schedule, and I was like, yada, like I really hated it, but I mean, you have to do it. You gotta do what you gotta do. There's a summer camp that you have to attend, and because I am in a branch like that's away from where the main branch is, I have to travel first there, and then from there we had to travel for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours to the other prefecture to go do this dumb trip that was out in the friggin' woods. And then I remember the first thing we did was cook curry, and you gotta take care of these kids on the bus, and like some kids have allergies, and I'm like, I'm not trained to take care of kids with allergies. I could barely take care of myself, and I ain't got no dang allergies. I don't need to be taking care. You should not be putting me like children with allergies in my care, because like I really don't know. Like, I mean, you know, I'll do the best that I can, but it's just like extra, like, you know, that's something that you really should like make, I don't know, or have some kind of training before you just throw me in there with a bus of kids, and then you play friggin' like, what is it called? I'm like, Let It Burn. It's not Let It Burn. Let It Go for like, you know, 47 times in a row in a span of like 4 hours. There was legit one kid who he got so mad he told his teacher, and then the teacher, like, so everyone, like the English teacher was like, hey, can you please stop playing that song? So of course all the Japanese staff were like, whoa, look at the foreigner complaining that we're playing this song. He's like, no, like really, my kid is like, if you play that one more time, he's gonna hit something. And I'm like, you see, nobody wants to. Okay, nobody wants to hear that song that many times, but like these, okay, so it's been 4 years since this happened, but still, like, it's fresh in my mind, the rage. But yeah, so that was, I didn't enjoy, like, that should be, I mean, I guess if it were optional, not that many people would go, but I don't think that all the teachers from all the schools went. I'm not sure, but yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy that at all. And also, let us not forget, the nature equals bugs, and I don't do well with bugs, so that was not, I don't think I saw that many bugs, but there were a lot of kids, and I don't like those either. But yeah, okay, so I have a second slide about me continuing to complain about this job, is that I didn't like, so where I worked, it had like a giant glass window, and so it had a door with like the glass thingy here, and then it had a giant glass window here. So then there was also like a camera inside where the parents could watch. I don't mind there being a camera, like that makes sense. And then that particular school, like, you know, if any school you have any kind of incidents, you want to be able to look back at the camera and, you know, just see like, hey, like what happened? You know, are we on the teacher side? Are we on the child's side? What exactly went wrong where? So that's not the problem, but I don't like the fact that there's like the window, and it's just, it felt like I was being like, because then like, I don't know, the parents would just like watch you there, and then you just like, I don't know, it just felt like I was like an English monkey. Like I felt like I was putting on a live show for them. But I'm like, that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to teach your kids. Like, you don't have to watch me while I'm teaching your kids. Like, I don't know, it just felt really weird. Like, I don't mind the camera. I do mind them watching. Just like I just felt like I felt like an English monkey, and I didn't really like that feeling. So yeah, that's just like, this is just maybe it's like a really minor pet peeve, but it was a really big pet peeve. Maybe it's minor for other people, but it was really big for me, so I didn't like that. Also, this is very minor as well. Okay, so some of those kids were absolute monsters, yo. I have this one kid, obviously I'm not gonna say his motherfucking name, but just he was a freaking turd, yo. Like, yo, that kid, like, you know, like I want to be like he's a child of the Lord. I should not speak like that of these children. They are but children. They know nothing. I'm like, no. You know what this kid knows? How to piss people off. And you know why this kid knows how to piss people off? Because the parents, and this happens not just in Eikaiwa, this happens in like just the teaching industry in general. A lot of Japanese parents, not everybody, obviously there are good kids out there, but a lot of parents put the responsibility of raising the kid, kind of like how to teach them like social skills and stuff, upon the teacher. That's not my job. My job is to teach a kid English. If your kid is being a turd, like it's not my job to teach them how to be like a normal human being, but that's kind of part of your job. It's not written in the job description when you sign up, but you come to realize really soon that that's a thing that you have to do. If you don't like doing that, don't. You should just not even sign up for it, because it's really frustrating. So you have to deal with kids that are absolute just, oh man, really just terrible little monkeys. But yeah, and then the particular school that I worked at, we only had 5 minutes in between the lessons. Lessons were usually anywhere from 45 to, with the little baby classes, they just had like, not baby classes, which we did have baby classes, which with that, you teach more the parent than you do the child. I mean, you are like saying the child, and every time that they see things, you know, they repeat, but you kind of are teaching the parent how to teach their child. So did have to teach some babies, but as you can imagine, with babies, all kinds of things happen. This lady in class one time, she just whooped out. I mean, it's a child, and as a mom feeding her, but I'm like, lady, put that away. I don't see that. Like, it's just awkward for me, because I'm like, obviously, like, I'm trying to teach the child, but you don't want to feel like you're ignoring her. Whatever. That was just a whole weird situation. But yeah. So anyway, so the classes were like anywhere from like 45 to I think like 90 minutes, and so you only had 5 minutes of break in between each class, but that doesn't give you enough time. Like, I mean, luckily enough, where I was working, like the bathroom was right next to, it wasn't inside, but it was right next to the place, so I could just go outside and it would be right there. That was all fine and dandy, but still, like, you know, I need to go there, I need to actually walk there. It takes like a minute for me to get there. I need to like do my stuff, and then I need to clean up and get ready to go back into the classroom. And especially being a female, you have like different issues that like men wouldn't have to deal with, and that 5 minutes is not enough, is what I'm trying to say. You should have at least 10 minutes in between each class, but because they're trying to cram as many classes as they can in your day, then you can't do that, and it's just really like uncomfortable having to deal with that. Another thing was that another thing with regards to breaks. Okay, so another thing with regards to breaks is that we only had 45-minute lunch breaks, which I think if you work like an 8 or 9 hour day, you're supposed to get an hour lunch break, but we didn't get that. We just got 45 minutes, but I didn't know that they could do that, or that they were supposed to give me an hour. So obviously, like, I don't know, but like every job that I've had after that, you get the hour because you work your 8 hour day. So that was not cool on their part. Also in that job, there was no like future whatsoever. It's just like, you're an Eikaiwa teacher, that's what you sign up to be, and that's what you're going to continue to be, because, you know, even if you prove that your Japanese is at the level that you can, even if you prove that, you know, you get the N1, even if you prove that, you know, oh, I can speak Japanese at a certain level that would be like, you know, appropriate to use in business, they would rather, I mean, they have to use you as the English teacher, because it's more profitable for them to have a foreign teacher in class. Even if a Japanese person's English level is at the same, is like at my level or higher because I look like a foreigner, because foreigners look like foreigners, then they would hire the foreign people and they would need those foreign people to teach English. And I'm like, okay, I guess, whatever. But, you know, it's, for me, it's not the most comfortable because I wanted to use my Japanese, which obviously is not entirely what I told them when I joined. So, you know, it didn't, I guess they were pretty surprised when I said that I wanted to leave, but I'm pretty sure that it's not their first rodeo. And yeah, like, honestly, I came to Japan to study Japanese and to improve my Japanese. So yeah, I wasn't down for that. So I left like after 8 months of being there. But yeah, and then okay, yeah, so you can't really use Japanese. And then even one time, like, the phone picked up, and I would hear always how the Japanese stuff would pick up the phone, and obviously, like, my thing isn't perfect, but I could, you know, get the point across. And then I picked up the phone, and then like one of the teachers was like really, not one of the teachers, one of the parents was really surprised. They were like, oh, is that Laura? And I'm like, yeah. And then I mean, we were speaking in Japanese, but then I was like, oh yeah, I'll tell them this or that. And then when I told like my manager, then he was kind of like laughing. He was like, oh, you picked it up in Japanese? I'm like, that's not funny. Like, that's what, like, why is that so funny? Like, you're studying English, like, why can't I study Japanese? So I didn't like that attitude, like, so, I mean, my manager, great guy, honestly, absolute great guy. This was not like a normal thing that happened all the time, but, you know, obviously I'm there to teach English, I'm not there to teach Japanese, so I'm like, guys, I gotta go, you know, I'm like, just had to do what I had to do, and then I had to go. And then, yeah, so, point of the story, in summary, I got out of that job in 8 months. I did not last that long. I started in March of 2014, and then I quit March 2000, that same year, 2014. I quit, and then I had found a job already at a new school, and that school I actually stayed for 3 years. So I'm gonna talk about my experience teaching at that school next time. Alright, so thanks for sticking around, and hope to see you guys next time, and hope you guys are enjoying the intro and the outro, and yeah, I guess, see you! You're such a cutie, patootie, I love your booties, you're such a cutie.